So a very good evening, all my dear friends. So today we have a very special candidate. Why I'm calling him a special candidate? Because you know that this year the RBI has came out with the minimal number of vacancies, and to be in that final list of the selected candidates, you are a special candidate. So first of all, Amit, before we go into the further discussions, my heartiest congratulations to you for your success in this examination.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for the opportunity to bring me here.
Okay, Amit. So we would like to talk with a lot of things which will help the further aspirants who are preparing for the upcoming year. So we will have a long conversation with you regarding all these things. So
Yes, sir.
we go further. Just I would like to inform whatever our viewers are that Amit has done his education in the engineering field. Right. Further, he will tell that in which branch or which thing he has done. He had passed out in 2020 from Amtech, doing his Amtech. He has worked for a while, around 8-9 months for Capgemini. After that, he has given his serious attempts. And what to say, my dear friends, he has already been selected for other exams as well. I think, Amit, you are also selected for ICAR Administrative Officer. That is also a
Yes.
grade A post, right?
Thank you,
And
sir.
apart from that, he has also cracked SSC CGL and multiple examination. So he is truly an aspirations for many. So we would like to hear a lot of things from Amit from you. Just we'll start with your educational background, where you started, how you started, and why you left your corporate job and jumped into the field of preparation of government jobs.
Sir, I completed my BTech and Tech dual degree in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering from IIST Shivpur in West Bengal. So after that, I worked for Capgemini, and my master's project was in micro and radar engineering, but my project was mainly related to machine learning, for which I published a research journal in Smartcom publication. After that, working for Capgemini around 9 months, I really felt that this is not my domain. So one of the things which I wanted to do always was civil services. And along with that, like initially I left my job to prepare for that exam. And after giving a 1 or 2 attempts, I made it into prelims, but I did not qualify mains because I suffered from dengue, as we have discussed earlier also. So because of that, I missed my mains cutoff by 5 marks. So I was really looking for a option B, because financial stability is one thing that I was looking for, like seeing my family background, and we do have a moral obligation for that. So I was looking for a good option B. I connected with multiple people. I saw multiple videos about the various exams. I cleared various exams, but like I was not getting that thing that yes, it is the final calling, because I really, if to, not to mention that it was an easy exam, but relatively I felt that I could have done better in even more tougher exams, which offer better opportunities in life. So I kept scaling myself up and up. Like first I cleared CGL, then after I went for other exams, and finally I came to know about the grade B, which I came to know about recently, and I seeing the conditions, the job profile, and the prospects regarding finances and work-life balance, I thought that it can be a very good option B, and not to mention it is of course an option A for many people, and now for me also, I think. So in that regard, I felt that this exam is very important, and of course equally competitive, because nothing is going to be an easy cup of tea. So since then, like after that, last year I thought to give this exam in 2022. But I just when the notification came, only then I got to know about RBI, and I could not make it, of course, because I did not know anything about this exam. So it was a lame attempt for me. Last year I could not give because it was between my UPSC prelims and mains, because notification came late last year, and this year it came before. So I did not give UPSC. I appeared for this, and I prepared. I think I started preparing around half or 1 month before the notification, and doing the right things, that as you say, and there are many good teachers like you available there. I think there are ample opportunity for learning, and to do it if somebody wants to do it with self study. I think it was doable. Not to mention it was not 100% luck. There was a lot of guidance available on YouTube, lot of support of my family, and a little dedication from my side. So it all culminated into this day which we are seeing now. So I really would like this to thank everyone and each and every teacher like you who are available, who guide people regarding this. So I think it was a tough journey, not to mention, but of course now I'm in a better position, so I can tell that. But it was really a good experience making this throughout this process. Like we got to learn a lot, and this exam teaches you a lot of things, much more than the syllabus. So it was a very good experience overall.
Right. So that's a very good thing. There are multiple resources, multiple tutors, multiple mentors available. We have to take the positive from each mentor and we could imply in our learning so that we can uh, traverse that journey, long journey in very short span of time, right? That is a good thing, suggestion you because it's always there. See, you anybody can prepare self with self study also, but that journey becomes short. That is important.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
that is there. So, Amit, now coming on to one more thing, as you told that you were preparing for UPSC aspirants, and we know that there is a chunk of students, right? In UPSC selection rate is very low. They always want to have that plan B. So, how
Yes.
this shift or how this journey from UPSC to grade B? Is
Mhm.
it very difficult? What do you like to advise to the UPSC aspirant if they want plan? Because everybody do not get success. This is a reality in UPSC. So they can get some better jobs. So is this shift very much right problematic?
To begin with, I would say that the transition is a bit difficult because overlapping, but the level of difficulty definitely varies. For example, we have maths, reasoning, English in CSAT also in UPSC, but the level drastically differs when it comes to RBI Grade B. So the subject may seem familiar, overlapping, but when we come to level and the vastness of the syllabus, it does differ. For example, in ESI paper also, we have economic, social issues, but it varies greatly with respect to UPSC. UPSC focuses much more on static concepts and wider things, whereas UPSC in RBI Grade B, we have much more current affairs oriented syllabus. So it varies. Like we need to change the approach, we need to change the syllabus, we need to change our strategy. Everything needs to be changed. But of course, one thing that always remains is a person who has come from UPSC background will always have that edge of working for in a longer amount of time. He will have better mental strength. He will have better physical strength, better endurance, better
Right.
patience. So that is what works in favor of UPSC candidates. It is not that UPSC candidates are benefited more by the knowledge of syllabus, but by their personal strength, by their or what we say by their soft qualities. So I think
Right.
that is what goes in favor of UPSC because they are tuned to studying for longer hours, tuned to understanding things better. So that is what it
Right.
works in favor of UPSC. And if we can capitalize on that thing, I think the transition becomes a little smoother. Not to mention it's completely smooth, but it becomes relatively easy. So I think that would be a right approach to take it.
Right, right. That's good thing. Now coming on to the preparation of RBI, what many students might be waiting, right, to hear from you. If you bifurcate the preparation into three phases, we'll talk one by one. Phase one is see basically the play of GA and the QRE, right? And first we'll talk about the nightmare, which is a nightmare for many of the candidates, that is QRE. It has become a vicious cycle, and it is very difficult to break this cycle because if you have cracked prelims this year, you are not sure that next year also you'll be cracking right prelims with better marks in QRE.
Yes, yes.
So what should be the approach, right? What advice would you like to give for the QRE section?
The most important thing which I would say is that the most important thing which I would say is the ability to select the questions because clearing RBI grade B phase one is much more about selection of questions in the main exam than actually solving it. Because I think if you see although the paper when the paper comes tough, the cutoff goes low. So when the paper of quant, reasoning, and English is tougher, the cutoff will certainly go down. And I think irrespective of any exam, be it any exam, at least you'll have this many easy questions to clear the cutoff if you have studied sincerely. But the problem lies in selection of that question. And the same thing happens in UPSC also. There are enough questions in quant. If we see the cutoff this year, I think it was 7 or something like that. So we must have got a certain number of questions, easy questions, which one should be able to solve if they have studied properly. But it is all about selecting those questions. So I think if we can select those questions, I think solving the question is one aspect, and the selection of questions is equally important aspect. So I think mocks become really helpful in this regard, where we get the questions in random pattern, and if we can choose on, we should be very picky in that sense that we can select the easy questions, such as the questions in simplification, the questions on average. These are the questions, topics which are easy. If we can catch on to that, what happens that I've seen like last time when I gave RBI and I saw the previous year papers, they tend to give the tougher questions in the beginning, and that is the pattern with every exam. Like, whichever government exam is there, they do the same thing, so that they check the mindset of the people. I think we don't get caught. We should not get caught up in that. And I think if you can be choosy, and if you have done a certain amount of study with a right strategy, along with that, for solving the mock test. I think that
Right.
would be helpful in QRE part. And when it comes to English, I think grammar is very important. If one is good in grammar, and I think the questions are also easy. I won't say easy, but it is relatively easy when it comes to reasoning and math. So English is a bit scoring if we can capitalize on that. And when it comes to GA, sir, as you asked, I think GA this time RBI has gone in literal meaning of GA. They're not only focused on current affairs, but there were questions of general awareness actually. Like there was a question on Edward Snowden and all. So I think we need to be a little more vigilant about these things, the facts that are happening, not sticking only to a certain magazine or something. So we need to diversify our sources. I think the government sources, of course, work. Compilations do help, but if we can be vigilant about these things in general news, I think that would be helpful.
Do you think that your UPSC background helped in tackling those true nature of GA questions this year?
I would say yes, sir. It was helpful to me because when I said like I remember only one question, that Edward Snowden question, and some other questions were there. Like we have studied. I won't say it was UPSC from UPSC syllabus, but UPSC syllabus has taught me to be more vigilant about the news. I keep following these news daily, and I think that really helps a lot. Matlab, it goes into your subconscious mind, and then I think it comes out when you see the options in the paper. Because we don't need to write the answer, we need to choose the answer. So choosing an answer becomes easier when we see the options, and if we have that in subconscious mind, it comes out like faster. So I think if we keep reading those things, because I would like to say one thing here, sir, if you permit me, it is that like none of the news come for a single day. It comes at least for 10-15 days. And if we are reading news daily, we are like vigilant about these things. Listening to the same news 10 to 15 times does go into our back of the mind, in the subconscious mind. And when we see the options, it will come out. So I think these are the strategies which should be followed instead of relying upon one magazine that would at last compile everything. So I think it would be a better way to follow it daily. I think that would be very helpful, which worked for me.
Right. So all the aspirants, see whatever Amit has said right now, two very specific words he has used. And these words are very precious for your upcoming examination. The first he told when he was talking about the QREs, be selective. They try to see that there are tougher questions, but you have to select the easier question from the tougher ones, the moderate questions. The first was a selection. The second word, what he taught about that, be vigilant when you're going for the GA things. Do not bound yourself with the certain things. Be vigilant, see what is going on in the newspapers, right? Try to apply your common sense. So the two keywords that we can take away from his experience is the be vigilant, right? And be selective. That is success mantra for QRE and the GA for the phase one. Very good, Amit. So these two words specifically, undermines the importance. Now coming on to the phase two of the examination from phase one, Amit, right? Again, objective comes, subjective comes, English comes. There are multiple things. So one by one, if you could just demarcate the thing, what should be the approach for the objective, ESI, finance management? What should be the approach for the descriptive, and what should be the approach for the English descriptive?
Yes. To begin with English, because it is considered the easiest part which people leave. I would say, like, I also did not work for it because I did not prepare thoroughly for this exam. I was preparing for NABARD also. So I had a very ad hoc strategy, but I think English is something that we should capitalize upon, because if we can practice this thing on our laptop or somewhere where we can minimize our like, I don't think anybody write very fancy English or very tough languages to understand. Everybody writes the simple. The main thing when it comes to English is the grammatical mistakes or the typing error that we have. I think if we can count on to reduce that by practicing, it would be a very helpful. People spend around 50% of the times in ESI. Rather, if we can make, like, we can make 40-40, 40 for FM, 40 for ESI, and 20 for English. That would be much more helpful than 50-50 for ESI and FM. But people don't do that. So there is nothing which I have done that is new in the market. Everybody does that. Those who have been doing it have been clearing it. But people tend to ignore English, and that is, I think, at least we can score, increase our score by 10 marks, and those 10 marks can come really handy when it comes to critical positions. So that is one thing we can do. And like getting it evaluated from a good mentor is also an important thing. For me, it was easier because having a background of UPSC, and I have written multiple answers in ICAR and UPSC, because ICAR had the same syllabus as UPSC. So there also we gave mains exams, so I had enough practice. So I did not need to practice much. But though for those who are, especially for this field, or those who do not have a good answer writing skill, they should practice typing. And typing speed is also important. So one thing that is important for English is to practice, and that is the only key thing. and practice it in Notepad or something, not in WordPad where they highlight the error as soon as it comes. That is important. And second thing, sir, for ESI, I would say for ESI, the most important thing is the report and schemes. So for schemes, I followed a simple practice that I have to compile the schemes, for which I used your compilation of schemes. And I had your resources, I supplemented it with the resources of some other institute where they were giving marathon and all. And I made a comprehensive resource. I tried to ensure that every scheme should be in one page. One scheme, one page formula, and even the smallest of the smallest detail, even a dot should not be missing from that one page. That is what I ensured, and I remembered it thoroughly, word by word, dot by dot. This is one thing which I did, and the same I did for reports. And I think those two are very helpful when it comes to ESI. It may not come directly, but it will give you the entire peripheral knowledge you need in exam. Because again, in objective, we need to choose the answer, not to write the answer. We don't need to recall it. We just need to recognize it. So I did that, and that was very helpful. Reports and schemes. Apart from that, I had my general economic background, but that doesn't come much handy in objective paper because the questions are current affair based. And when it comes to descriptive paper in ESI, the questions are generally of a nature that a good UPSC aspirant would be benefited, which I would frankly accept that I was benefited like 20 to 30%. But again, the typing style, the writing skill varies here, because in UPSC maximum we have to write 20 to 50 words of an answer. Here we have to write 600 words. That becomes difficult. Stretching an answer when you don't have a point unnecessarily won't fetch you marks. What is important is instead of 600 you write 400, but those 400 should be a good material. That is what is important. And for that, one should know to elaborate your point. For example, there is a question on Indian economy, and they have to write certain point about the foreign exchange. Then they should know to extract that one word foreign exchange and make it into a sentence. That is very important, because when you will follow short of words, that time you have to explain those points. For example, I remember there was a question where I knew, I think 4 or 5 points only, and it was not filling my answer. Then what I did, I started explaining those. First, I wrote all the points, and then I saw the word counter, and it was lesser than the word limit. Then I started explaining it line by line. I wrote one line for each point. Then again, I saw that it was short of my point. Then I added one more line in each point. So I was doing like this. So these things really help. These are the strategies which really help. Instead of writing one at once, what I did, I first wrote one line in each point. I saw the limit is less. Then I wrote 2 lines in each point. Then I saw again it is less. Then I added one example in each point. Then I saw the word limit is full now. So these are the ad hoc strategies that you need to take in exam. And again, for FM, sir, I think this year RBI rocked in FM. When it comes to FM, everybody was like, FM is very easy, to ho jayega. It's like a cup of tea. Minimum you will score 70-80 marks. But this year RBI doomed everybody. So I think what worked in my favor is that it was an application-based paper. Because had it been a memorizing paper, I would have gone, because I did not remember much. I did not have much time. It was a very ad hoc strategy. But because the paper was analytical, and when I checked my answers with the coaching institute's answer key, I think all of the objectives, I think I got 70 to 80% correct, because it was an application-based paper. So that worked in my favor really. And when it comes to again the same descriptive part, the same thing. I did not know. For example, I'll tell you, even the question on communication, descriptive question on communication that everybody reads, I did not remember there because I did not read it thoroughly. Again, I did the same thing, writing one line in each point, saw the word counter not happen. Again, I did one line in each, then saw the word counter not happen. Added one example in each, and then finally it happened. So it was a very ad hoc strategy that I approached, and I think it really works. You have to be a little smart when it comes to these exams. They are not only checking your knowledge, your rectification ability, they're checking your smartness as well. How well you can understand and how well you can tackle the unforeseen circumstances that come along your way. So I think that would be a better strategy for descriptive and all.
So we'll name this strategy as Amit's incremental strategy of answer writing. So many can use it because it's truly effective, and I think within that short span of time, it is fruitful. The way you said, it will help many others, right, in the coming years. They can use this. That's a good thing.
Sir, I said you, sir, regarding my Telegram channel. If they connect me, I can explain them, or we can have another session on this.
I was going to talk about this. Yes, I was going to talk about this. I am the first subscriber of that channel. And I will just share the link after this interview comes into the YouTube in the description box. All my dear friends, please join the Amit's channel, because many things we cannot discuss in this YouTube talk, right?
Yes,
and he will give you the exhaustive list of everything, his experience. So he will definitely help you out in all the things. So please join by going into the descriptive box and joining the Amit's Telegram channel. That would be very much helpful.
Sir,
Right.
we can, I think we can do one or two more sessions on your platform only if you permit
Yeah.
me. I can
Okay.
explain those things because I will say not to boast, but the strategy that I took was really ad hoc and it really helped me because if I can prepare for this exam in 2 months and make it into the list of when we have 1/4 of the vacancies, I think the strategy does work.
Right.
I am the proof of that. So it may not work. You can practice it in mock. If it works in mock, then you try it. Otherwise, you leave it. But there's nothing bad in trying something new, which has worked for me. I think everybody can try and give it an attempt.
Definitely.
Like it would be a really helpful. Not only in this, like in phase 1 also, in phase 2 also, in interview also, there were many ad hoc strategies that I took, which I have not seen in YouTube till now. Example two. In phase 1 and phase 2, any more which I would love to like. We have a shortage of time. Otherwise, I would love to explain those because they really work for me. So I think everybody can give it a try.
Definitely, we will have a session before you join RBI. We will have those sessions so that you explain to the candidates. And if somebody explains, there is no harm in learning the candidates, right? You can go for the Amit strategy. He has qualified. He is icon right now. So definitely, whatever thing has worked for him, try to absorb those things, right? That's good. Now, coming on to the final
Thank you so
thing,
much for the
Amit, I would
nomenclature.
like to just and coming on to the final thing, Amit, the interview round that is very important for RBI because the fluctuations of the marks. Somebody are in the zenith, somebody are just at the bottom for the interview mark. So it's very much dynamic. You can't say what will happen in the interview of RBI. Your story of RBI interview, if you can just tell to the candidate, because I still remember those words when you called me after your interview. And I heard your interview and told that you will be getting one of the highest marks this year in interview. And still, I believe in that. When the marks will come, it will be reflected. Just if you can tell the story of your interview, that will really help many candidates in the upcoming days.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, sir, in interview, again, I did not have much time because my ICAR AO joining came that time only. It came in, I think, 19th of November. And I had my interview on 3rd of December. I was interviewed on 2nd day only. So I had only 15 days, and in that I had to send my attestation form. I had to go for medical of that. So I really did not have any time for RBI interview preparation. So for that, I took the mock sessions. You also took my mock. You took my second mock also for that matter. Although we did not have time, but you gave me a good guidance. I tried to implement it. And one thing which I could not do is people say that you should go and learn about every word of your DEF. I did not have time for that, and I really felt that that was not that important. Maybe it would be, but it did not. I did not do it because I did not have time. What I thought that I may not do every each and every word, but I should have broad idea about everything, whatever I'm writing, because they don't ask the nitty-gritties of those things. They ask a broad idea whether it is true or not. So we need to understand the mindset of the interviewer. So I had tried to have the broad idea of everything. I tried my best to read about everything, whatever is my educational background, whatever is my UPSC background, whatever optional I had. And fortunately, my first question in the interview was, what optional do you have in UPSC? So I did have the opportunity to read that also. I read about my hobbies. I had a very different hobby, so I read about that also. We discussed that. So my hobby took a very long part of my interview. And apart from that, whatever I had written, my employment background, I read about it. What I was doing, I read about something about it. So basically, I had a broad idea of everything, so that I could tackle every question. So when I went to the interview, I greeted the interviewers and after the members. And then after chairman, I started asking. He asked me, what optional do you have? I said, sir, sociology. And he said, what about your UPSC? So I said, sir, now I'm preparing for RBI only. After that, he asked me a few questions. I answered those. Then they asked me one question: which department would you like to work for in RBI? Had you qualified this? I said, sir, fintech department. And then they asked me why. I said, sir, because it aligns with my educational background and I am a technology weak person, so I would love to work in that department. Although all departments are equally appealing to me, but again, given the preference, I would opt for this one. Then after, I think, first 50 minutes of the interview went on this only. Then there was a ma'am. She asked me that, can I ask you a question on Forex? I said, yes, ma'am, please. Then she asked me questions on Forex. How does it decrease, increase, everything they asked. And then I think this went for 5 minutes, 20 minutes. And my interview was very long. It was the first interview of the day, second day. And it went for around 40 minutes, I think. I think it would be the longest interview so far. So then after, like, one of the members asked me, okay, tell me, our finance minister Sitaraman and the RBI governor have differing views regarding a certain issue. I don't remember the issue. they said that regarding a certain issue, they have a differing view. So what is your point? Whom do you support? Then I did not have any ideas. I said, sir, I'm sorry that I do not have any idea about it, but I think Honorable Finance Minister must have consulted RBI Governor on that. Then they started laughing, and it was a genuine laugh that like they were enjoying. I think I thought that they were enjoying my company because I gave an honest answer. I did not have an idea, and I explained myself later. That sir, I don't think Honorable Finance Minister take any decision without consulting RBI as long as they are the stakeholder in this. So I think they would have consulted, and then everybody started laughing, and they were so jolly after that because it was the first interview. Everybody was like in simple mood, so they had a really rejoicing moment that moment. After that, I could see a change in the tone of interview, especially the chairman, sir. He was too interested. After that, I think my interview worked for around 15-20 minutes after that. And in every question, whenever they used to ask me, and I used to say, I'm sorry, sir, the chairman, sir, used to give me extra time. He used to say that, okay, you take your time. I'm waiting for 2 minutes. You answer because I know you can answer that question. And I think this happened in 6-7 questions. So he was saying, for example, I can remember one question. Chairman, sir, asked me, which is the inflation that RBI cannot control? And I don't know, under the pressure of that interview, I could not answer it. I said, sir, I don't remember now exactly. Then he said, okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes, you take your time. Then I thought and I told, sir, when there is supply side inflation. Then he said, okay, very good. Then he said, okay, tell me one more. Then again I said, sir, I'm sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall. Then he said, okay, I'm again giving you 2 minutes. Then I thought and I said, sir, imported inflation. Then he said, okay, give me one more. Then I took 2 minutes. Then again I said, I don't know. Then he said, okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes more. You think, but I know you can answer. Then I gave him one more point. Then he also said me one point, and I said, so they were enjoying my company. After that, everything happened. Then they came to my hobby. It took around 10 minutes. So they were saying, first the chairman asked, what is your hobby? I said, sir, brainstorming or rational dispute. Then they asked me, okay, tell me the recent incident that you have brainstormed. I said, sir, increasing role of women in elections. And we recently had our Lok Sabha elections also. And we had elections in Jharkhand also that time in my state. So they asked me, okay, tell me how can you support that statement that women are increasing? I said, sir, first is the turnout ratio. That women turnout ratio is very high, at least more than previous years. Apart from that, most of the schemes that are coming, they are women centric. Like we had Ladli Behna Yojana in our state only. The same we happened in Maharashtra also. There was some scheme, I forgot the name of the scheme. So we could see that. Then they said, okay, tell me, why are everyone focusing on women? Are they easier to bribe? Is that what you're saying me? And they got really aggressive. Like I think they were checking me. They said that, do you want to say that women are easier to bribe? And I said, no, sir, I'm not telling that. I'm just telling that generally, as per our current society, the previous generation, what we see that the main breadwinner is the men. So adding 1,000 or 2,000 rupees to men's in pocket won't make much of a difference to them. But when it comes to women, they are mainly housewives. So the marginal utility of that amount is very high for women. They have a sense of breadwinning that yes, we also earn something, and that increases their bargaining power in their home. So I think that is the reason they are focusing on female. And I could see that they were really impressed with that answer. Then Chairman sir asked me a very good question. He said, there is a question for which I am looking for an answer for last 7 years. Let me see if you can satisfy me. Then I said, sir, please. Then he asked me, okay, tell me, what about your, you said that you have a hobby to brainstorm on rational things. I said, yes. And then they asked that there is a person who has a certain superstition, any kind of superstition. Would you like to eliminate it? Or should we eliminate it? Or should we eliminate all the superstition in this society? So I think these were the questions which came because they might be enjoying my company. So in that also the opening statement that I gave in that answer, I said, sir, we often find logic when it comes to religion. But in the Sabrimala judgment, Honorable Justice Indu Malhotra in the Supreme Court, she gave a very beautiful statement that when it comes to religion, logic should be kept away. Otherwise, will never be able to find a logic in religion. Those are two separate things. We should never mix religion or so to say mix faith and logic because they may not exist together. So I think we should not always apply logic when it comes to faith. It comes from within the heart of people, and our constitution also acknowledges this right because everybody has the right to think and to believe whatever they can. Then they asked me, okay, give me at least 2 conditions when we should stop superstition. Then I said, sir, when it comes to harm of the person who is practicing it, for example, self-sacrifice kind of thing, or when it harms the broader society, for example, human sacrifice or whatever. So when it comes to self-harm or harming the general social order, I think then it should be stopped. Otherwise, there are certain superstitions which but on the other. So there's a difference of opinion. What may be superstition for me may not be for you, and vice versa. So I think it is not always good to apply logic there. So I think these are the things which they might have acknowledged, and I think that they really enjoyed my company. This is
Right.
what
And I
happens.
wanted to discuss you all these things because it shows the presence of my mind, my dear friends. If you answer them like this, with the amalgamation of lot of things, the current related things, the fact related things, the board will enjoy your company, as I said, Amit has said. So that's why I wanted to discuss all these things with the Amit, what actually, how you actually face the interview. And it will definitely help you people in the coming days also, how you can take your interview forward.
So may I take a moment in that regard?
Yes, Amit.
Sir, just now I said about that being vigilant. So if you see my example, which I gave in interview, that the recent Supreme Mala judgment, it was because I was listening to that judgment. This is what I meant by
Yes.
me being vigilant.
Yes.
Because it may not be available in any of the, because all the current affairs magazine will cover the final verdict of the judgment. They will not cover the individual statements of the judge, but they are very helpful when it comes to interview, especially. So I think this is what I meant when I said to be vigilant. This is what
Right.
helps in general.
Agree. My last question to you, Amit, what are the three things would you tell to the candidates not to do? There are a lot of things to do. What three things not to do for RBI Grade B preparation?
The first is the habit of chasing 100%. This is one thing one should never do. We must follow the Pareto principle, where 80% of the syllabus, 80% of the marks come from 20% of the syllabus, and that is very true. One should never chase 100%. Second is giving equal weightage to all the portions of the syllabus. That is absolutely incorrect. We must prioritize our things, be it any subject, sir. Priority is very important. For example, if we take QRE and if we give equal amount of time in, suppose, a topic on profit and loss and a topic on average, that won't fetch good marks. Rather to focus on easier parts, because we just have to clear the cutoff. I am pretty sure that not more than 1% of the people making it to the list would be using quant and reasoning to increase their score. They all are there to just to qualify the cutoff. So why to waste so much of energy? Rather focus on GA and English fall apart. So second thing is giving equal weightage to everything. And third is, which I would like to tell, and which I always tell people, whoever connects with me, is that there is a hype these days I find on YouTube that everybody is running that I have to clear this in first attempt. And this is what creates the mental pressure on the people.
Right.
So it is good when you clear in the first attempt, but it should not be mandatory that when you are not able to make it, then you are taking a baggage of failures or a guilt that I am not able to make it, or you are saying that you are lagging behind someone else who has made it. It is just a matter of time. There are people who made it before me, there are people who made it with me, and there will be people who make it after me. So never get bogged down with these things that you have to clear in first attempt, all those things. Everybody comes from different background. As I told, I had certain advantages from my UPSC background, at least the soft advantages of endurance and all. The other people may not have it. They may have certain other advantages. Just to capitalize on your part, your strength, and try to cover your weakness. That is more important, instead of blindly running behind the hype in social media that you have to clear in the first attempt and then you'll be hero and so on. It doesn't make a difference at all. So that is what I would like to say.
Right. So that was a very candid, explanation of the things, from your side, Amit. I wanted to have a very long conversation, and definitely we will have, as you said, definitely we will try to have more such 1 or 2 sessions before you join RBI, so that you can give much more better inputs to the candidate.
Sure.
It will definitely help them. And again, at last, I would say I would also share the link of Amit's Telegram channel so that he can help you people in a much better way. In the description box, you can join his channel, right? Because his inputs, his suggestion would be important at this point of time. So with all this, Amit, we would like to say thanks to you for carving out your time for this Toppers Talk. It will definitely motivate, right? Motivation is the main thing, and it will definitely motivate a lot of candidates like you to work hard and did not get deterred by the initial if you're not getting the success, right? As you said in the last, everybody is starting from somewhere else. You had some advantage, somebody else might be having some other advantage, right?
Indeed.
So that is important. So thank you so much, Amit.
Thank you
Best
so
of my
much, sir.
wishes for all your future endeavors, Amit.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Amit.
Thank you.